Greetings all, it's the 17th of April 2022 and we're going to do a global storm outlook video today. In these videos we take a quick glance around the globe at any interesting weather that's going on and is predicted in the near term. Here's the latest satellite loop for Europe, and the main thing we can see is this huge area of cloud down in the southeast. And this is sweeping up air off the Sahara into Turkey, it looks like, in Greece and over Crete. But on the northwestern side there's strong flow coming out from the northeast, and that's producing strong winds over the Adriatic. If you look carefully as the sun is rising and sweeping across, you can just make out some dust down underneath the clouds down here, and perhaps ahead. This whole area looks a bit dusty. The polar orbiting satellite imagery hasn't come in for today. If we look at yesterday's, you can see the plume of dust moving up over the Mediterranean. This will have projected and moved further off to the northeast. But let's take a look at those winds in the Adriatic and along the coast of Croatia. I've put in a pointer here for the wind gusts, and you can see it's at 57 knots on this downslope wind coming off the mountains and onto the ocean. It's on the downslope side, and then as we move through, it stays pretty strong through the day today, and then I think it dies off by the evening and overnight tonight. Over here is Italy, and then over here is Croatia and Bosnia, and this is the Adriatic. If we look at the temperature anomalies, you can see it's colder to the east on that northeasterly cold flow coming down towards the Adriatic. But things are set to change as we go forward. It's warm over the Iberian Peninsula, but as we go forward to around Wednesday, there's a cold plunge that comes down from the north, bringing temperatures down to 10 to 15 degrees Celsius below normal for Spain. You can see it really getting cold down there, and in fact this is cold enough for some snow on the hills. So we'll see if something happens with that. That is actually a low pressure system that develops over the western Mediterranean as well, so later that'll bring rain into Corsica and into Italy. On the rain and sea level pressure chart, you can see the rain coming down into Spain, which is down here, with a few spots of blue indicating snowfall over the higher areas. Heavy rain on the eastern side, and then this low pressure moves into the Mediterranean with the Balearic Islands. We've got Sardinia and Corsica over here, wrapping rain into southern France and into Italy, and that's on Thursday. And then the low pressure moves through, bringing heavy rain into Corsica and then into Italy for a period. Over northern Africa, we can see where the dust is coming from of that low pressure system that's pushing it into Europe. You can just see the dust picking up in the Deborah dust instrument off the deserts of Libya, and that'll be moving into Turkey and then into the Middle East. If we go back 5 days, this is the view on April 12th of the Mediterranean up here, and watch this low pressure system that was then back over the Iberian Peninsula as it moves through the Mediterranean, picking up dust, developing quite a distinct circulation there on the 14th of April, and then becoming elongated and then moving through into the east with all of this dust now pluming in towards Greece and Turkey. The Barcelona Center dust forecast shown here, optical depth, shows the plume at its thickest moving across Egypt. So it looks like a dusty evening for Cairo, and then you can see it projecting up all the way up into the Black Sea and beyond. But the biggest weather story in Africa has been down in the south, in the southeast in particular, on southeastern side of South Africa. And just watch as this storm comes up, and this storm has been absolutely tragic, bringing heavy floods. 400 people, or almost 400 people, have died tragically. And this is a vicious east coast storm that developed. You can see it wrapping up remarkably on April 12th. Really powerful system, and then actually developing what looks like a small scale low pressure system 13th of April that then came up the coast. So it looks like multiple stalled lows, but the main one seems to have been on April 12th with this big sweeping blast of cloud coming in and hitting the hills of the KwaZulu-Natal. And also Durban got a lot of severe heavy rain. Looking at the infrared loop, you can see the system wrapping up as it moved off over the east coast. So one of these things that fuels these systems are the sea surface temperatures. Sometimes there's a warm eddy in the ocean that helps to fuel it. So let's take a look at that. Here are the sea surface temperature anomalies prior to the event, and these are the differences from normal. You can see that there's warm water within where the system developed, with a contrast with cooler water than normal to the south. And you can see that this was present during the event and may have played a role in helping to fuel all of that rain pummeling in towards South Africa. Probably there'll be some research projects on this. This system was a subtropical-like system, similar to what you might see on the east coast of Australia and the east coast of Argentina in particular, and is associated with an upper-level cold core low pressure system that passes over the warm waters in the lee of the mountains and leads to the spin-up of these vicious systems. Hot conditions have continued in northern India, and down in the south, over Sri Lanka and Tamil Nadu area, there have been some beautiful views of spectacular thunderstorms developing over the hills and mountains of the region. Looks like this is going to continue, and also some thunderstorms into Bangladesh. Over in the West Pacific, things have been getting very nasty near the Philippines, which are the islands over here. This is back on April 8th. As we go forward, you'll see the development of Tropical Storm Meggy, which was Agaton, named Agaton by the Philippines agency Pagasa. And the thing is that it developed into a tropical storm. It was a depression, but it just hung around over the islands, bringing very heavy rain. The result has been devastating landslides and loss of life. Meanwhile, up here we had Malacus that developed into a major hurricane strength typhoon with an eye. It did avoid mainland land, although it did strike some of the Japanese islands and spread down here, producing a record-breaking wind gust on one of them. Over Australia, it looks like we've got a cold front moving into Victoria, bringing rain for our friends in Melbourne, and that cold front is going to sweep into the South Island, New Zealand. The Joint Typhoon Warning Centre are monitoring an area 94P in the Gulf of Carpentaria, it looks like. But it doesn't look like the GFS is particularly developing this system. It continues to bring heavy rain into the Cape York Peninsula, and then some hints at a low pressure development off towards the southeastern side of offshore Queensland into the Coral Sea, eventually bringing, oh god, heavy rain getting quite close to the coast, but staying a bit offshore in this model, and then coming onshore in the central Queensland coast, and that's on Saturday. The result of this, if we look at the 10-day accumulated rainfall, are some pretty high rainfall totals in the European Centre model. I mean, it's a ways off, but wow, almost up to half a metre in the ESCMWF. I think the GFS tones it down quite a lot, massively actually, keeping the rain mostly offshore. So that'll be one to watch. Will the rain come onshore, or will it stay offshore? Over the southeast in the United States, we can see a band of thunderstorms. Some severe are moving over the southeast, and these do have had a tornado risk, with the thunderstorms crossing into Alabama and into the Florida Panhandle. If we look ahead, we'll see those thunderstorms heading into the southeast as we go through into tomorrow, and they're off into the Carolinas, and snowfall on the northern side of that system moving up, and meanwhile snow coming in towards the west as well into the mountains. That snow in the east, though, looks like there's a heavy period right there on the northern side of the systems that moves up into Canada. And looking further ahead, actually, and watching this low pressure system, and this is quite a long way ahead, we're into Thursday now, comes across, brings snow into the Rockies, but it's really beyond that. It does pick up quite a lot of thunderstorm activity going into Saturday, into Sunday across the Midwest. Severe thunderstorms contrasted with severe snowfall in this model simulation, which is the European Center model. Accumulations are quite large in North Dakota, but it is a long way off. That's Sunday. Let's see what the GFS looks like quickly at the same time. It's got the system coming through, maybe slightly lower accumulations. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. Finally, let's finish up and not forget our friends down in South America. There's an interesting area of thunderstorms in eastern Brazil. It's fairly slow moving. We've got the usual collection of stuff over Colombia, and some of these can be quite locally severe or intense rainfall anyway. The GFS seems to be hinting at a localized, quite severe rain area, very small, low, developing just on the coast down there. I think that's somewhere near Salvador in Brazil. Yes, it's quite interesting. This is the 3-day rainfall from the European Center model, and there is Salvador. We're looking down on eastern Brazil. Look how localized this band is. And this is not just in the European Center model. If we flick to the Global Forecasting System model, we'll see again high totals near in the Salvador region. Seems to be more associated with a rather odd small scale area of persistent strong winds or moderate winds coming on in the Salvador region just to the south of it. And look, it just kind of stays there and persists. I think it's the back edge of a stagnant front that's come down into the sub/tropics area. It lasts for several days. Actually, this is already Tuesday, so it's calming down by then. But I guess that's why you're getting that really persistent rain that's building up over time. The sea surface temperatures anomalies, differences from normal here, show that the waters are warmer than normal over a large area off the coast of Brazil. Salvador is up here. It's not quite the pattern I was expecting, but you can see there is a lot of energy out there. As those winds that are coming up in this direction somewhat, there'll be a bad choice of color for the arrows. Be picking up moisture off the ocean, then bring it into Salvador, which is over here. Yes, here is yesterday's tsunami MP viewers, and you can see the low pressure and front that has dipped down into the tropics producing this rain. And Salvador is up here at the end of that front, so I suppose this is stagnating. We can just take a quick look at how this evolves. Yeah, it really is an oddly stagnant front. Here's the low pressure, these are the surface winds, and the front you can see is this boundary between the winds with that strong winds coming into Salvador. And as it persists, you can see how it's just this front that extends a long distance out into the southern Atlantic, while those winds focus into Salvador. So it's an interesting structure for sure. So that was an interesting surprise to finish up with. There we're looking down on Salvador. Looks like all of the thunderstorms are mainly in, but you can see this persistent flow. Perhaps it's going to develop more and produce that rain into Salvador. And on that note, I'm going to finish up. If you like this video, please click the like button and come and join us on our Discord. The link is in the video description. Super friendly, and you can tell us what you would like to look at in future videos. If there are any animations that you want to know how to produce yourself, we'll also be teaching that. And there'll be more tutorial videos. We'll look into some storm developments as things progress later. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.